We start with our protagonist, Dave, with his girlfriend, Linda. And they are in, what's the city that's near, Alvine? What's it called? The one with Chuck. We're there. And he asks Linda if he and her should move in together. Linda accepts and they decide to move to Goldenrod City. But before they leave, they want to take a photo and remember this special occasion. Thus, we start our journey in Pokemon Dusk Chronicles Dave, created by Mr. Prince. So we start our English Pokemon journey in a bike shop with Joe and Harold. They talk about the flu that's coming out that apparently makes people crazy. Little did they know it is actually a zombie virus where if you get bit, you die and come back to life, but without a coherent brain. However, Harold sees a zombie coming through and tries to get Joe to make a distraction without alerting him so he can leave safely, and it succeeded, much to Joe's chagrin. However, Harold is lucky enough that Dave was nearby so he could have shot this zombie, because if not, he would have been oofed off. So Dave takes Harold to the secret hideout or safe house, whatever you like to call it, so they can talk over there. So Harold asked Dave how he survived, and he tells Harold that he was going to meet a colleague at the harbor, but then he smelled something rotted, something funky, like someone hasn't showered for a week. And he looks and sees that there's this cracked out woman outside, and he's like, I ain't doing with this, let me go get my gun. And now we're back to the present. Dave mentions that he's trying to find his girlfriend, the one we saw in the beginning named Linda, and that he has yet to see her. So we introduced ourselves to Ben, who is thankful but doesn't really feel like talking. The name Rainer, who is having a hard time coping with the situation because he can't rate names. And we got Nurse Joy, who's just kind of there chilling. So we wake up to the next morning where Dave and Harold start talking and seeing how's the situation like. They have enough food and water for everyone, but they decide to check the perimeter and see if there's a way out. Unfortunately for them, everywhere is crowded with the infected, aka the zombies. And so Dave wants to run away, but there's a kid, and you know what they say, you can't let a kid die, so he has to go save himself and the kid. So Dave, fights the zombies and tries to get the kid so, she don't die. I don't even know how she's on the tree, but I mean, that's another question. Anywho, we go back to the hideout, and Dave lets the little girl Melody figure out the situation and just chill while he figures out what else to do. All I know is that if I was in a situation like this, I'm dead straight up. I can't even climb a tree. So like, better IQ or something, think smarter. Yeah, no, that ain't gonna happen with me either. I'm gonna be done. I'm like, I gotta eat some beans in a can. That ain't gonna work for me. So while Mentally needs time for herself, Dave tells everyone that he did find an exit, but it won't be good because he's not gonna have enough ammo to take everybody. And the name reader just starts losing it. Bro really needs to rate names that he don't care about his life. He rather rate a Pokemon. Why don't he just rate the people's name? Be like, yo, your name's awful. Dave, more like Spade or something. I don't know. He could do something productive, man. But dude's really freaking out. Like, I don't know, man. I don't even know if you get paid from that. How does he make a living, my dude? But yeah, he's just freaking out, and Dave's doing the best he can to comfort him. Dave goes out again and finds the daycare lady you know, the one who be finding eggs randomly. Well, her hubby George finna died, and she's just out there talking to herself, but pretending like George's still there. And he's like, "Yo, we got safety. You wanna come with us?" And she's like, "There's no need for me to live." But Dave's like, "Come on, you can do something." She's like, "Oh, okay, let me just grab my stuff." So Dave talks to Harold and says, "Yo, they gotta go to the Elix Forest." And Harold's like, "Yeah, you're right. But before they head to the forest, they talk to Philip, and Philip's like, "Hey, yo, we got another group of survivors, but we do I think you do your thing. Got it?" And he's like, "Yeah, got it." They got a bodyguard named Klaus, and you better remember that for the next game, whether I upload this first or second. Anywho, and then Philip's like, "Yeah, don't go to Elix Forest. It's not good there." But Dave's like, "Nah, we gotta see it for ourselves." So they go to the Elix Forest. And while they're at the Elix Forest, they meet a man named Craig. Now, Craig's alive, but he's about to die. And that's because Philip came by and knocked him down. So he tells them it's no good to go to the Elix Forest, because if they go through there, they're gonna get munched up by zombies. So because he's about to die, they can't take him with him because he's already infected. So they gave him the choice. Does he want to just slowly die, or should we just yeet him? And he says, "Yo, just yeet me. Let me live this short life, because I don't want to be no infected." So 2 poom pooms in the head and he's dead. So the next day, we go talk to people, and they say, "Yo, the name Raider ain't here." So then we're like, "Oh, he must be at his house. No one got the keys to his house, so we just gonna have to find a way to open the doors." And we go to the name Raider's house, and he does the unthinkable. He puts a rope on his neck and then jumps down to do that one thing that people don't like to talk about. And so right there, he leaves a diary talking about, yo, he really needs to write down some Pokemon names, and he just can't live life without naming Pokemon, even though you know, there's a sequel to this game. Anywho, dude does the unthinkable, and while he's up there, he turns into a zombie, and he's like, "Wait a second, I didn't know he was bit. Did he do this to protect us?" He wasn't bit, people. So yeah, we'll get into that in Pokemon Dust. But yeah, Name Raider deleted himself. So Dave tells everyone the Name Raider's dead, and they're like, "Oh no," and then they get over it in a second. So then Ben has a quest for you, and he says, "Yo, so I had a delinquent days, and I had a buddy named Charmander who turned into a Charmeleon, but then he became a thug too and started doing some thug turd. He was about to kill a Caterpie in a battle, and so then I protected the Caterpie because, you know, I'm such a hero, and so now half my face is burnt. And I know it's creepy, but you know, I gotta live through that." So he's like, "Yo, Dave, my Charmander, who's now a Charmeleon, turned into a zombie, and can you please end his misery, because he protected me, and I couldn't say thank you or even talk to him because I was through my emo phase. And I would appreciate if you do this for me, and this is very important to my character." But, you know, last second, Ben's like, "Dexter, my Charmeleon, I know you're still in there even though you're a zombie." So he goes next to his Dexter and says, "I forgive you, baby." And then dude gets scratched by his mom because that's a zombie, and the dude really said, "Yeah, let me just get close to this zombie." And so then Ben and Charmeleon die. Yeah, it was such a tragic backstory, but they died, and my phone just went off. Oh no! Ben died! I didn't see that coming, even though I just said it. So then, you know, oh no, Ben dies. And Harold says, "Yo, I hear some noises in the flower shop." And he's like, "Is that your girlfriend, Linda?" He's like, "Yeah, man, my girl turned into a zombie." And Harold's like, "Yo, man, you can't have a zombie girlfriend. You gotta kill everyone else." And so then Harold's like, "You want me to kill her for you?" And Dave's like, "Nah, I got this. I got this." So Dave goes in the city. He tries to kill as many infected people as he could, and then he goes to his girl's house, and he's like, "I gotta kill you." But then he starts hesitating. He's like, "Oh man, I can't kill you. You my girl. I mean, I can't make out with you or anything, but I can't kill you." And so he lets the zombie go, because I don't know why the zombie ain't trying to eat him. I guess he was doing some kind of voodoo to make it so. But she he goes outside. Dave's like, "Oh no, there's a kid coming here. I can't just let her eat a kid." And so Dave's like, do I kill her? Do I save the kid? No hesitation. I gotta save this kid. So he uses the last of his bullets and he goes pound pound to the girl, not letting what's his face, Ethan, know that was his girlfriend. And he's like, "Hey kid, you alright? That was the last of my bullets." So further down the line, I guess this might take place in Pokemon Dusk, which we haven't reached yet, but I think that's the next game, or I already did it prior. Anywho, Ethan's like, "So Dave, why you wear those glasses?" And Dave says, "Because I don't want others to see my pain." And that is Pokemon Dusk Chronicles Dave Edition. Now, there is the Survivors arc, which is in Pokemon Nightfall, not in Pokemon Dave. But if I talk about it in Pokemon Nightfall, it kind of feels weird to do that, because this would be like the Dusk Survivors. So, the three options they have is the one with Dave and Linda. We already know what happens to Dave. Then they have the one with the daycare lady with the Love So True turd, and she explains that her husband George died of a heart attack. And so she decides to be like, "I love so strong, I never want to be apart from you." And she she drops him into the water so they can never be. This is some kind of Jack and Rose turd from the Titanic, because right after she leaves with the survivor, for Love So True, she kind of dipped real quick. Now the third story is about Klaus's time in the casino with Philip. You know, the guy we was talking about earlier in the Ilex Forest and stuff. Well, you see, someone got infected in the casino, and they was fighting because they're like, "Yo, he's a threat, and it would be better if they die now." And so they're like, "Yo, Klaus, give me the gun, Klaus, give me the gun." And Klaus starts having a meltdown. He's like, and he was throwing hints. He's like, "Yo, sometimes I talk to myself to feel better." And he's like, "Yo, they can't tell us what they do." But he's talking like he's multiple people. And so he's like, "No one's in charge of me no more. No one's in charge of me." And so he dips. But instead of just dipping, he for real dips, locks the door, and just leaves them to die because they didn't reassemble the gun, and they don't know how to reassemble the gun. And so they just all die in the casino. And so Klaus is like, "No one's gonna hurt us no more. No one's gonna hurt us no more." I was just like, "Who's us? It's just you, Klaus." And that's the end of Pokemon Dave Chronicles and the extras. We'll talk about Pokemon Dusk next, and then Dawn, and then Nightfall. Those are gonna be a lot longer. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to take it, but if you like what you see, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share the video, and there'll be links into people who actually fully play these games, such as Picaspre and who's this other person? Cintano Gaming. One's really small, one's pretty big. So if you want to see their editions of it, go ahead and watch them. I'll put the links in the description. But this is JJ Beats and Serenity, just having fun. So make sure to support me on Patreon or something, or don't know. Bye.